everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome back to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, we're going to be breaking down the brand new Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's hot topic. I'm sure by now most of you have watched the brand new trailer, but if you haven't, and shame on you if you haven't, you can click the link in the description of this video below, and you can watch the brand new trailer for Star Wars The Force Awakens. But for those of you who have watched it, we're going to break down the trailer. We're going to talk about a lot of the things we saw, a lot of the things that we didn't see, and some theories about what a lot of this could mean, because even though this is the final trailer, and I love this about Lucasfilm right now, their marketing, and I said this when they did that little Insta teaser, their marketing has been brilliant for this movie. Everything about it has been brilliant. This is the final trailer. We actually got dialogue this time. We got ideas about the story, but we still don't know what this movie's about. We have clues and hints, but we don't actually know what the narrative of the film is. We don't know. We have no idea where Luke is, although we have ideas. We don't know why they need to get in touch with Han Solo, but we have ideas. We don't know why Finn actually leaves the new order, the stormtroopers. We don't know why, but we have theories. This trailer has cemented a lot more of that stuff. So we're going to go through a lot of the main parts of the trailer here. I absolutely love the use of music in this trailer, like the new renditions of the classic versions of the Star Wars themes with extra drumming and bass added in, like the shot where you see the Knights of Ren and just the drumming used in that, like it just adds so much more tension and emotion to that scene. I mean, just everything about the way that the trailer starts off too. It's so light, and it's so it's more emotional. Actually, it's more letting you understand. I think this is a great thing about this trailer. It lets you know the mood and tone of this film. There's going to be a lot of slower character moments. This is really going to be a character film, but there's also going to be a lot of really cool action set pieces, because as you see in the trailer, it's all very character based. The beginning, the first 30 seconds of the trailer are introducing people to Rey, to Finn, and to Kylo Ren. And each one of them gets a little segment. You hear Lupita Nyong'o saying, "Who are you?" And she goes, "I'm no one." And very reminiscent of Anakin and Luke from the previous trilogy. So we're very much keeping in line with that type of story idea. And then you go to Finn, and Finn is a stormtrooper who now has no reason to fight. He has no fight to win. Like, he doesn't have that motivation behind him. And so I think that's one of the reasons why he vacates. We're going to learn a lot more when we actually see the film, because I'm pretty sure the opening 20 minutes of the movie are all going to be about that. Very reminiscent to Revenge of the Sith, I think, is like the first 20, 30 minutes of that movie were a big space battle. I think that's going to be in this movie, because that's another curious thing about the trailer. No space battles at all. All of the battles took place on some kind of planet. Now, I wonder if that's just something that they're hiding, because we still haven't seen the Starkiller base, or at least what we assume is the Starkiller base from what we saw in the poster. You know, there's a lot that they're keeping close to the vest, and I absolutely love that, because I want this to be a movie that we can go into and be surprised at. A movie of this scale being like that. Now, the other side of that coin, I hope that this is not another Tomorrowland situation, and I do not believe that it is, but I said the same thing about Tomorrowland. That was a movie that I thought was marketed very well. It brought up intrigue and curiosity, and it really didn't tell you a lot about the film, but it really got you hooked. The problem is that the movie that we ended up getting was nowhere near what we had advertised. All the parts of Tomorrowland that we saw in the trailers were the only parts of Tomorrowland that we saw in the movie, which was very unfortunate. And I don't believe that that's going to be the case with Star Wars. But getting back to the trailer, I mean, when you see Finn crash land, we already knew that he crash landed. We saw it was the very first shot that we saw in the very first trailer was him getting up in the Stormtrooper outfit. Then the next segment we see in the trailer is Kylo Ren, and he's on the bridge of a Star Destroyer. Now, whether or not this is the Super Star Destroyer, or if it's his own ship, if he has a fleet of these, like, these are still all questions that we don't know. Is he the Darth Vader to Snoke's Emperor? We still don't know. We still haven't even seen Snoke, and I don't care what anybody says out there. In that shot of all the stormtroopers, and you see that person off in the distance, that is Hux. Because if you just look, you can see that there's a complexion that looks like it's Caucasian. wearing the hat, wearing the black robe, looks very reminiscent of that picture that we saw of General Hux. Now, a lot of people said, well, why wouldn't they just show him? Well, because it was more about the grandiose option of that, or the grandioseness of that shot of all of the stormtroopers looking onto this podium with somebody up there actually dictating it. Now, I'm not saying that Snoke's not there. I just believe that central figure there in the middle of the screen is General Hux. But then, after that, we get to see Kylo Ren is actually worshiping Vader's helmet. And he's worshiping Vader. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to play in. I don't know if, there's other story elements that are now going to be introduced that were actually a part of either when Anakin was younger or in between episodes 3 and 4, if we're going to get a lot more stuff, because Vader's a big proponent on Rebels right now. So there's a chance that on Star Wars Rebels, we may get some introduction to the Knights of Ren through that or through one of the other novels. Which, by the way, if you guys have not read Lords of the Sith, holy crap, that's an incredible book, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. It's a short read. I read it in about 2.5 days. It's like 260 pages. Great read. And also, if you're a fan of Rebels, the main character in Lords of the Sith is Hera's father. So Hera's the pilot on Rebels, and her father is the main character. It's basically the start of the rebellion. It's a great book. But getting back to this, when you see him saying, "I'm going to finish what you've started," well, what exactly does that mean? Now, I was watching Jedi Council last night, and they hinted at that it might be, him going and killing all the Jedi, which, I don't know, that to me seems too easy. Maybe I just want it to be a little bit more complex. I want there to be a different reason other than, well, he's just going to go and kill all the Jedi. I would love there to be another level to that. And I hope that that's the case, because that'll make that character a lot more complex. But then right after that, you see him using the Force. He's got his hand right in front of Poe Dameron, and he's torturing him in a way. Now, whether or not he is being projected images into his head, or trying to have information taken out of his mind, like trying to coerce him into that and molding his mind, and that's why he's in pain. But the very next shot that you see is potentially our first glimpse at what this new Starkiller base can actually do, or whatever their super weapon is actually called. We know that they have a base called the Starkiller base. It only makes sense that a super weapon would also be called a Starkiller. So we're just putting 2 and 2 together. But that is also something that we still haven't seen yet, at least in its entirety, and I'll get to that in a minute. But right after that, right after you see the wave of explosion, that's when you get hit with our first glimpse of what the action is going to look like in this film. And oh my God, does it look incredible. The way the camera follows the Star Destroyer, or the Millennium Falcon and the TIE Fighters, the way that the camera's moving around Jakku, the other shots with the X-Wings and the TIE Fighters, like my absolute favorite shot in the entire trailer is right after it says "This Christmas" and you see the Knights of Ren. And then there's a shot of the X-Wings hydroplaning and opening up their X-foils. The next shot, it shows stormtroopers setting up around burned ruins or destroyed ruins. And off in the distance, you can see the squadron of X-Wings hydroplaning towards them. And all you can see, you see these little like dots of gray, but then you just see like this cloud of water coming behind them. It's such an impressive shot. There's so much Star Wars in this trailer. And I know that almost sounds like a hyperbole, but it's been so long since we've actually had something that felt like Star Wars. Not something that just had remnants of Star Wars. No, this felt like it. This felt lived in. Even Kylo Ren's mask, which they could have made very pristine and very sleek and all that. And it still has a sleek design, but it's chipped, it's dented, it's marked, there's damage to it, it's lived in, and that is reminiscent of the entire world that we're being, drawn into with this movie. It just looks absolutely incredible. And then, speaking of the Knights of Ren, we get our first shot of the Knights of Ren, of the entire group of this, I guess you could call them strike team. I don't know what other term to call them. They're really bringing in the medieval aspect of Star Wars, because that was, again, something that we had in the original trilogy. It was very much a medieval movie set in the future almost. Like that's how they kind of juxtaposed it. It was future technologies, but it was, you know, medieval kind of ideals and clothing. And there was just a great juxtaposition to that. And I really think they're going further with that in this movie. Another really cool shot was the new way that they jump into hyperspace. Like it's just an evolution, a natural evolution of what we've seen in the other Star Wars movies. And I thought it looked really great. Is a little too close to what they did in Star Trek, but I'll forgive them because it looks awesome. But yeah, I mean, and then the biggest part to me, this is the biggest story detail, because again, this trailer doesn't actually give you the plot of the movie, but it gives you a lot of really cool story hints. And one of the coolest ones was when Rey asks Han Solo, he says, you know, we've heard stories. And he goes, they're true. All of them. The dark side, the Jedi, it's all real. So that right there, that sentence has led everybody to believe that what events transpired to bring down the Empire, the Clone Wars, all that kind of stuff, a lot of it looks to have faded into memory. Whether or not it's just because of their being on the Outer Rim or whatever the case may be, but it looks like the saga of Luke Skywalker, the destruction of the Emperor and Lord Vader, and possibly even, you know, the destruction of the Old Republic, all of that looks like it's just faded into memory and become a myth. And a lot of people don't, like, they're like, it's a story for the kids. No, it's all real. Like, that's the world that we're living in. I think that ties back in again to the title, The Force Awakens. I think things have been dormant for a while. Probably for a couple of decades. Like I'm thinking 20, 25 years, because this movie's set about 30 to 35 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. And I think that for at least 20 to 25 of those, the Force has been dormant, at least on the light side. The dark side has probably been pretty prevalent in going out and, you know, just causing a ruckus, if you want to call it something. But like there's so many details in this, and obviously, I mean, Han Solo looks great. The new additions to the Millennium Falcon with the holo grid, I thought that looked really great. But now we get into the other part here, where I talked about Starkiller Base. The shots in the trailer where you see the TIE fighters and the X-Wings fighting over the ice planet or the snow planet, it looks very industrialized. There's a lot of trenches that are very reminiscent of the Death Star from the first Star Wars movie. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the case, but it just looks very industrialized. It looks like it's possibly even that the base is built within that planet or moon or whatever it is that they're on. But that's, I think, the closest that we get to that weapon. And I do believe that the third act or the final act of the movie, if my hunch is correct, that this weapon is actually built inside this planet, or that they've actually just built a planet around this weapon, that it's actually going to break free of that. Because in the poster we saw, it was a fully formed Death Star looking device. Now, we don't know the scale and size of it, although it looked like it was massive. The trench looked like it was even bigger. There was a giant gun on it. I mean, just in general, it looked big and massive. So there's still no telling as to what can happen with that, whether or not it will actually be unveiled in this film, or if it's more going to be in the planning stages, if that's maybe a cliffhanger type ending that happens where the planet breaks apart and this new weapon comes out, and maybe that's the cliffhanger. See what I mean? This trailer asks so many questions, but it asks the right questions. It's not that it just leaves everybody hanging and saying, well, we didn't really get a lot out of that. No, we got a lot out of it. And one of the best things that we got out of it was that we didn't learn a lot from it. I know that sounds weird, but this is one of those types of movies where you don't want a lot of the story details spoiled. You don't want to know a lot of these details ahead of time. This is a movie where I have back-to-back screenings on December 17th. This is a movie I want to go into and just have my jaw drop to the floor. I want to be completely amazed. And even if I knew a lot more about the movie, I still feel that would be the case. But it's been so long since I've been able to enjoy a movie and not really known a lot about it. I can't even remember the last time that happened. This, to me, could be one of those types of movies where you could go in, really not know the idea of the story, and just sit there and go along with the ride. Not trying to say, okay, well, this scene's still coming up, and we've seen this shot in the trailer, we've seen this and this and this, and so you're kind of piecing it together as you go along, and then you're just sitting there watching what you've pre-recorded in your head. And so if we're able to go around and watch this movie and really enjoy it for the first time and not have that piece together, it's going to make an even better experience, which I think is going to make everybody enjoy it a lot more. Now, with ticket sales selling out left, right, and center, like the theater I wanted to go to in Toronto was sold out. It took me over an hour, almost an hour and a half, actually, actually to order tickets. That's why I didn't end up putting a video up last night. I didn't have time. I was so angry with every time I was going to order a ticket, it would kick me out. It would time out. And it was just, it really ticked me off. But then at the end of the trailer, we get the real money shot. We get Finn versus Kylo Ren. Now, it's very quick, but this is one thing, again, it asks a lot of questions. Because you see Kylo Ren as he's walking up, when he ignites his lightsaber from the previous trailers, he's wearing his mask. When he walks up towards Finn in this one, because you see Finn, he's standing there in his classic pose, and then when it cuts to the next one, when you see Kylo Ren walking towards him with his lightsaber, not only is Finn, you can tell a lot by their body language here too, Finn is very nervous. His body language, he's scared. It's probably his first fight that he's had. Kylo Ren's going to be a lot more proficient with a lightsaber. But Kylo Ren's not wearing his mask. Now, why? My theory is that Kylo Ren and Finn know each other. But I don't think that Finn knows that, because J.J. Abrams came out a while ago and said that Kylo Ren was not the name given to him at birth. What I think is Finn and Kylo Ren, or whoever Kylo Ren used to be, they knew each other, possibly even grew up together. And for one reason or another, Kylo Ren left. He became part of the Knights of Ren. He took up the mantle of Kylo Ren and is now working for the dark side. And then when he and Finn actually confront one another, he takes off his helmet to reveal, look, it's me. It's maybe his brother. I mean, the one thing that Hollywood is doing right now is they're really pushing forward with, multicultural families, and it doesn't matter if a character doesn't need to be heterosexual; they can be gay, and it's just becoming a lot more politically correct. I'm wondering if that could even be something where they're either siblings or if they're related in any way. But I still feel that they were just they grew up together, they were friends. And then for one reason or another, they just veered off paths and then have rejoined now. One's on the light side, one's on the dark side. There's so much to delve into with this trailer, and I love it. Now, my one hope, Disney, if you're watching this, and I don't believe you are, but Disney and Lucasfilm, if you're watching this, this is the final trailer. I know you called it the final trailer. This is the final trailer. No minute-long trailers. No none of that nonsense. Use only footage that you've already released in your TV spots to sell the movie. We don't want to see any more footage. The movie's less than 2 months away. Everybody's already pretty much bought their tickets. Like it's gonna make an insane amount of money. This is gonna shatter records. I actually now believe that it could actually beat Jurassic World. It has a chance now. The way that pre-sales went, oh my God, absolutely, it has a chance. Are you kidding me? So that's my hope, that we don't get any more footage from this movie. I want to be able to go in there and see the movie in all of its glory and just relish in it. I think that it looks great, but more importantly, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you love the trailer? What were some of the things that you didn't like about it? I myself loved how at the beginning and the end of the trailer, it really focused on character. I mean, even though the last shot that you see was Kylo Ren and Finn going at one another, but right after that, you hear Lupita Nyong'o's character as Maz Kanata come out and say, I could sense the Force within you. Just let it in. And it's all about character, and it's very somber, and it's low, and it's more character, and it's more it's more focused, and it's not about the bombastic action and the spectacle and all that stuff. Even though they've sold us that that's going to be in the movie. There's lots of this stuff, but it's more of a character-driven movie. There's going to be a lot of story and a lot of heart. And I think J.J. Abrams has knocked it out of the park, and I really hope that he doesn't let everybody down. So far, it looks like he's doing a great job. So, but again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I am just through the moon with this. Yeah, I mean, it was a great trailer. It was a great trailer. I think everybody can agree it was a great, great trailer. My name is Niklsun. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Niklsun, Niklsun. You can also find our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. Go ahead and click that subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. If you guys ever have a topic or question or comment that you'd like to have discussed on the show, I know that there's been a while since I've been able to do them, but I'm really trying to get back into being able to do a show on a more regular basis. I've got a bunch more new equipment that I can use in different areas. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And until next time, You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.